Welcome to the Create a Life That Is Beautiful podcast, your go-to resource for personal development and coaching. I'm your host, Letitia Ringe, and I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm Letitia Ringe, your coach and host, and in today's episode, we'll be talking about how to create a successful business. I'm going to give you the 3 most important things you need to look at in order to create a successful business. This is for you no matter where you are in your business journey. If you're thinking about starting a business, if you're currently starting a business, validating a core offer for your business, if you're growing your core offer to 6 figures, or if you're scaling your business from 6 figures and beyond. We will talk about how to know what equals success and then how to measure your results against that success. I'm also going to give you some tools that I use to support my clients in creating a successful business, and I'm going to give you some really powerful prompts that you can answer so that you know exactly what you need to focus on solving next for you and your amazing, beautiful business. Before I dive into today's episode, I want to make sure that you all know that I am currently enrolling into my signature business offering. This is a new program. It is replacing all other business programs I've offered to date, including the Holistic Business Mistress Mind and my one-to-one holistic business coaching program. This program is a hybrid one-to-one coaching program as well as a mastermind. It is called World Class, and you can find all of the details at letitiaringe.com/she's World Class. This is for you if you're either a woman in business or if you're a woman working in the coaching and personal development industry. This mastermind and one-to-one program will give you both one-to-one coaching and mentorship, as well as a mastermind focusing not only on your business or brand, but also on your leadership. And we will be addressing the 5 pillars to my world-class framework, which include looking at your life as a whole and making sure you're fully satisfied across all the different areas of your life. Secondly, looking at your business or brand. So we're looking at the practical, strategic aspects of your business. Thirdly, we're looking at your expertise and your leadership. This includes professional development. The area that we'll be deep diving into throughout the world-class program is making sure that your craft is as good as it can be. We're going to position you to go deeper into your craft so that you are industry leading in what you do. And we must make sure we have an intentional professional development process to do that, which involves having peer support and partnership to help you see outside of your blind spots and go even deeper into refining your unique craft. I'm so excited to do this with you all. Fourthly, we'll be deep diving into growth and transformation. This is essential for you if you work in the coaching and personal development industry, and it's also essential for you as a business owner because you must have a positive reference point with growth and transformation in order to continue growing and transforming in your business, which is required even if your goals are simply maintenance, or maybe there's a leadership opportunity you want to take advantage of, and of course, with all of your other business goals. On top of this, if you support people in growth and transformation because you work in the coaching and personal development industry, you have to have a positive reference point with the growth and transformation process. Otherwise, you'll unconsciously be blocking yourself from working with the people that you want to support. Fifthly and finally, we'll also be looking at how you generally thrive as a human, as an individual, and as a woman. We'll be looking at feminine leadership. We'll be looking at working with your body, including your current hormonal cycle, whether that's a menstrual cycle, whether you're pregnant, perimenopause, postpartum, or in the menopause season of your life. We always make sure we work with your body and your emotional and creative energy right now so that we're building a business and brand that is actually sustainable for you and allows you to thrive. So if you're someone who's been interested in working in both a one-to-one coaching program as well as a mastermind, World Class is perfect for you. And the purpose that we're all gathering around is that we want to be in a small mastermind with one-to-one support so that you have that one-to-one partnership as well as the peer support. And we're all gathering around the intention of exploring the next layer to our world-class potential, because we all realize that it's not a destination that we get to. It's not something one and done that, yep, now I've explored my potential and so my life is now complete and everything's great. We realize that exploring your potential is a never-ending journey, and in every season of your life and your business, you have the opportunity to explore the next layer. And this is what makes life, and it also makes your business and brand journey fulfilling. And so we are committed to being here with you one-to-one, as well as the mastermind and peer support, so that you have a team around you, as well as all the support you need for business, leadership, and supporting you as an individual while you go on that journey. Once again, you can find all of the details at letitiaringe.com/She's World Class. Enrollment closes on the 11th of June, and we'll be starting together on the 14th of July. This will be the one and only intake for 2025, and I'm so excited to work with those of you called to this experience. Alrighty, now let's dive into today's episode, all about how to create a successful business. Firstly, I want to define what is a successful business. And to help us do that, I'm going to come up with a definition and a couple of elements in this definition that I hear all the time from women in business and separately from women who work in the coaching and personal development industry. So let's deal generally with a definition for women in business. Generally, what I see women wanting, those that work with me and are attracted to the way that I teach on the topic of business, women are wanting a business that allows them the freedom to live and work on their own terms, to pursue their passions and purpose, and to create the financial, lifestyle, and professional success they desire. Now, if any of this resonates with you, I want you to write down what resonates with you, because this is going to help in a moment when we talk about how to actually measure what a successful business is. So that's the first definition. Let me repeat it again. Women want a business that allows them the freedom to live and work on their own terms, to pursue their passions and purpose, and to create the financial, lifestyle, and professional success they desire. Secondly, women who work in the coaching and personal development industry, the definition I see used for them in terms of being a coach or being someone who provides a personal development product or service is as follows. They want to build a thriving, heart-centered, impact-driven business in the coaching and personal development industry that makes a positive difference to the lives of their clients and contribution to the world, and that also allows them to thrive as an individual. Let me read that out to you again. Women who work in the coaching and personal development industry, generally who I work with, want to build a thriving, heart-centered, impact-driven business in the coaching and personal development industry that makes a positive difference to the lives of their clients and contribution to the world, and that also allows them to thrive. Now, this would be a definition that is applicable to you if you're a coach, a healer, a helper, a facilitator, a consultant, someone possibly who also supports people with a particular service, like a graphic designer or a web designer, and their clients are people who work in the coaching and personal development industry. So just listen to those definitions and write down what part of those definitions resonates for you personally. It's really important to know what your drivers are in terms of the business or brand you're building. This is important because when we think about success, we have to define what success means to us. We have to have a personal definition. I've spoken about this in the past in terms of what a successful or fulfilling or satisfying or beautiful life means to you. And I've also spoken about this in terms of what a successful, satisfying, thriving relationship means to you. Whenever we're thinking about any area of our life or our life as a whole, if we're asking what success or satisfaction or fulfillment or even happiness or whatever term you like to use means, we need to be able to define what it is. And we want to know what those core components are, because then that will tell us what our desired results are. And this will help us to create measures for success so that as we're moving throughout our journey, we can measure whether the processes we're implementing are actually leading us towards those desired results and are in alignment and embodying those desired results through the journey as well? And if they're not, then we know we need to tweak things or pivot entirely. And that's really important so that we can keep moving towards our North Star. So this sounds pretty simple, right? And it is. And as I like to say over and over and over again, business actually is really simple, but it's us as the humans running the businesses that make it really complicated, which is why in these episodes, I really like to break things down to as simple terms as possible so that you can focus your brain on the simplicity and what needs to be focused upon rather than all of the fluff and all of the excess, all of the overcomplication we add on top of that. So using this understanding of what a successful business is, let's talk about how to create a successful business. And I literally just mentioned it in the description I gave. So how to create a successful business, we need 3 components. 1, we need our desired results. 2, we need aligned processes for meeting those desired results. And 3, we need to be clear that those processes are leading us towards our desired results. So let me break this down a little further. Our measures for success should be what our desired results are. So from the definitions I just gave you earlier, some of the desired results that show up in those definitions is we would want to make sure that our business gives us the freedom to live and work on our own terms. You might want to break that down into more specifics, but that would be one of your measures of success and one of your desired results. Another desired result would be that your business or brand allows you to pursue your passions and purpose. A third desired result would be that your business allows you to create the financial success you desire. So, of course, you'd want to get specific about what that actually means. Another desired result is lifestyle success. Get specific about what that means. And another desired result is professional success. Again, get specific about what that means. In our second definition, to build a thriving, heart-centered, impact-driven business in the coaching and personal development industry, it being thriving, heart-centered, and impact-driven might also be a number of desired results, or you might put that all under the same desired result. And so you want to make sure you understand specifically what that means. How do you know if you're achieving it? It makes a positive difference to the lives of my clients and contribution to the world. That would be another desired result. And it allows me to thrive. Okay, so what does thrive actually mean? All of these are desired results. Other desired results you might have are a certain amount of income in a year or from a launch or from a specific offer or project. Another desired result could be your client's experience of your offerings or the results that they walk away with when they work with you. You might also have desired results around the team you're able to employ or your positioning in the industry or the way your business and brand support some other bigger societal issue or problem. So your desired results can be whatever you want them to be. And throughout the course of your business or brand journey, they may change. The specifics of what it means for you to thrive today may be different today to what it is in the future. And if you even just reflect on what it meant for you to thrive in the past, you might notice that there's a change between then and now. And so it's really important to always check in and understand what those desired results are and specifically what it would mean to have them fulfilled now. And when you're clear on that, that means you've got your North Star. You've got your compass pointed in the right direction. These are your measures for success. With the things I do in my business and brand on a day-to-day basis, are they pointing me towards my North Star? Are they moving me closer? Are they in alignment with that? Now, sometimes we don't know, but we need to go out and execute the process and then measure, did it actually move me closer to my desired results? So, the second component to creating a successful business is about those aligned processes for operating the business or brand and moving towards those desired results. Now, the reason this is important is because you could pick strategies to help you move towards your desired results that are not aligned. They're either in contrast to other important desired results that you have. So maybe they move you towards income, but they don't move you towards feeling like you're pursuing your purpose and your passion. And maybe you have values that are really important to you about the way you operate your business or brand, and the strategies you're choosing are moving you towards your desired results, but they're not in alignment with those values. Or maybe you're burning yourself out in the process because the strategy or the process you've implemented is not in alignment with your zone of genius. You hate doing it. You're not great at doing it. And so from a sustainability perspective, while it might get you towards your desired result, at some point there's going to be a cap on you executing that particular process. And so as best as possible, when we're choosing what processes to use and what strategies to implement for our business, we want to make sure that there is alignment in the process itself. Is it moving me toward my desired result? And is it aligned with my values and my best way of working and operating? Is it sustainable? Is it something that I could continue to do on a long-term basis? Because otherwise, if you build a business around these processes and strategies and it's not sustainable because you don't want to do it for a very long time, you'll spend all of this time and energy learning to work a process and a strategy that has a time limit on it. And then what you're going to do is you'll need to validate a new strategy that hopefully is aligned this time. And that means starting from the beginning again in many ways. So it's really helpful as you're picking your processes and strategies. Yes, you try them, you execute, and you notice what the cost is to you. If it's something that's not aligned for you, that you know you can't operate on a long-term basis, you may want to consider implementing other strategies and getting those working and validated instead of going with the current one that you're using. Now, there is one disclaimer on this, and that is whenever you're learning a new process or strategy at first, it's going to be much harder, right? And that's because you've got to use more of your conscious brain power to implement that process and strategy. You need to learn about it. You need to step into discomfort because it's new, and it requires you to build a new habit. All of this takes a lot of your mental power. And so don't assume something isn't aligned because it's hard. Assume that whatever you choose, even if it is aligned and sustainable, will have an aspect to it that is hard. And one of the ways you can understand this about yourself is just looking at what you know from the past about yourself, as well as, okay, this is a new strategy and process. I'm going to give myself time to work it, maybe 90 days, and then I'm going to evaluate whether it's moved me towards my desired results, and also whether this is a strategy I can see myself implementing over the long term. By that stage, you should have built the habit around it. You know how to work it. You're starting to see a little bit more ease in the strategy, and then you'd only change it if it's truly not in alignment from that sustainability perspective. And thirdly, in order to create a successful business, we want to be clear about those processes and their ability to create the desired results. Now, the reason this is important is because each day that you rock up in your business to work on it, or you rock up to work on your brand, you want to be clear about what you're doing. When you're not clear, you're in confusion and overwhelmed. And usually this is what leads to procrastinating or feeling like you're not a responsible or authoritative leader, which then affects the way you show up with your clients and the way you lead your business and your team, etc. It affects your confidence. You want to rock up every day in your business knowing what you're focusing your attention on, so that you can be efficient. And it means that you can have a business that runs in fewer hours rather than needing to operate your business with a 40-hour week, for instance, because half of that is spent you thinking and redeciding decisions and strategies and processes that should have already been decided. So for me, being clear about those processes you use to create the desired results is key to creating a successful business, so that you're actually in execution of the processes, which is the only way you'll create your desired results, rather than thinking and making decisions about what those processes should be. So I want you to have a look at these 3 components to creating a successful business. And I want you to ask yourself honestly, am I clear on what my desired results are? That's number 1. Number 2, am I clear on whether the processes and strategies I have chosen to create these desired results are processes and strategies that are aligned and sustainable for me? Okay, so you want to be honest with yourself about whether they are. And if you don't know yet, you can say, I don't know yet, but I'm committed to executing these processes and strategies for the next 90 days so that I can answer this question about them in 90 days' time. And finally, thirdly, am I clear about what processes and strategies I am focused on executing in my business or brand right now to create my desired results? If you're answering yes to this, that is great. If you're answering no, this is something you need to work out right now. You must make decisions about what processes and strategies you're going to focus your limited time, energy, and attention on so that you can actually get to work executing them. And I would add to that, if you do know what those processes and strategies are, you've made the time to make that decision. And for most of you, you'll have to cap that time you spend making the decision because there is no perfect or right strategy or process. There are many strategies and processes that can work. And as you execute them, you learn about what needs to be tweaked so that over time it becomes your best working strategy and process. It's not something that will just be great right off the bat. It's something that you need to go out, execute, get feedback, tweak, and continue doing that until it all starts working. Then at some point it will stop working. You need to work out which aspect isn't working and then tweak it in order to get it working again. And that is really the simplicity of business from today until the rest of your business journey. And that's why we work with coaches and mentors and people to help us review that feedback from a place that is objective rather than very personal, which is how we make it with these beautiful purpose-driven businesses that can be really hard to separate ourselves from at times. So now we know how to create a successful business. We know we need desired results, aligned processes, and we need to be clear about what those processes are. So what stands in our way of creating a successful business? There are generally 6 key problems, and I've mentioned a lot of them already. I'm just going to quickly break them down so that you've got these clearly in your mind so you can pay attention as you move forward. Because when you know what the key problems are, it helps you understand and choose solutions that will actually address these problems. So the 6 key problems to creating a successful business include having a lack of clarity. This can be a lack of clarity on your desired results, on whether your processes are aligned and sustainable, and also on what your processes and strategies are to create your desired results. If you have a lack of clarity, that is for sure a problem standing in your way right now in terms of creating a successful business. Now, at the same time, throughout your business journey, you will never be fully clear on all the pieces that matter in your business. There will always be unknowns, okay? And so you also have to be okay with that and know how to take the best next step in your business, not knowing the 10-part plan, right? Not knowing what's going to happen in 12 months' time. So you can only get the clarity that is available to you right now. And as I mentioned before, that clarity would be, what are my desired results right now? Are the processes and strategies I've chosen aligned? And am I clear about what my processes and strategies are to create these desired results right now? You need clarity on these 3 things. All the other pieces you can just leave, right? For now, you can't have all of the knowns on those. And also, they really don't matter when it comes to creating a successful business. The second key problem that stands in our way is a lack of intentional strategy. If you do not know what your processes and strategies are for creating the results that you desire, you will be stuck in uncertainty, overwhelm, overcomplication, spinning in circles, and most importantly, not executing powerfully on the processes and strategies you have intentionally chosen to move you towards your desired results in a way that is aligned and therefore sustainable. So it's really important that you slow down. You take a moment to come up with that intentional strategy. This doesn't need to take more than a day for most things, and even within that day, more than a couple of hours. But because we're stuck with the paradox of choice, there's many options that could work. We don't know which one to choose. It can be really difficult. And because all of our businesses and brands are so different, we're all unique as individuals, it can be really challenging to know which to pull from. And that's where working with a coach or a business mentor can be really, really powerful, because they'll be looking at all the strategies that they know of. They'll be learning about you as a person as well as your business, and then helping you to choose the strategies that might be the most aligned for you as a starting point. Okay, the third key problem is a lack of focus and overcomplicating. When you're not focused, you are in what I call entrepreneurial immaturity. It is where you're throwing spaghetti at the walls, and then maybe some things start working, but you don't know what is working because you haven't been focused on anything. When you learn entrepreneurial maturity, this is when you realize as a business owner, if I focus on one thing at a time and then I am able to measure my results of executing that one thing, I'm able to understand whether that one thing I did is actually working. Is it moving me toward my desired results? And is it an aligned process that I can continue operating over the long term? If you're throwing spaghetti at the walls, or even just trying to do multiple things at once, you can't get that feedback. You cannot know what is contributing to the results and what is moving you away from those results. So focus and simplifying business is incredibly important as a solution. The fourth key problem is a lack of execution. When you do not know what to execute on, it is very likely you won't execute. Also, if you are stuck in a negative reference point with growth and transformation, which means expanding your capacity for more income, more impact, better leadership, any desired result you have, if you're at the edge of your capacity, it's very unlikely that you're allowing yourself to grow. You need to move through a conscious transformation process in order to do that. And part of this requires you having a positive reference point for growth and transformation. This will help you to embrace execution, to step into new habits and behaviors that will move you towards your desired results. So this is difficult in and of itself. And that's why, as a business coach, when I'm working with my clients, the majority of our work after we decide what their intentional strategy is actually just helping them to execute, because we as the humans doing the executing constantly stand in our way, constantly overcomplicate things, constantly resist. But there are ways that you can make that process easier, and that requires you to understand deeply about growth and transformation, the 4 phases to transformation, to be working on this positive reference point, and you make everything in that journey so much simpler if you have a clear strategy, blueprint, and plan for what you'll be focusing your attention on. That helps you actually step into execution, and also stop using the excuse that I don't know what to focus on. You've decided, so now all you need to do is execute. And if you're not executing, you know the problem is only around that. And so we work on solving that. Now, the 5th key problem is operating from a place of urgency. Now, this is really difficult, particularly if you believe you need to make money as soon as possible in your business. Many people find themselves in this category because they usually delay getting help until as late as possible. And so when you're actually looking for a coach or a mentor to work with, you're coming from a place of urgency because you've let the problem get to a place where you're now desperate. You're then hiring a coach or mentor to support you from this place of desperation and urgency. And then you're making decisions from this place. Now, we obviously do this when we're not working with a coach or mentor as well. And what this means is that you are literally making decisions and taking action in your business from a place of fear. This rarely leads to good decision making. My high recommendation is to do whatever you can to get yourself out of urgency so that you can operate your business and your leadership from a place that is not urgent. Now, if you need money, this might look like getting money from another source outside of your business. Maybe it's savings, maybe it's getting a job, maybe it's getting a loan. Giving yourself some financial resources so that you're not operating from a place of urgency. If you're thinking about working with a coach or mentor like me, it's about hiring that coach and mentor as a partner in your business as soon as possible before you're in a place of urgency. Understanding that when you work with a coach or a mentor, you're probably going to be implementing new habits, new processes, new strategies into your business, and you have to give yourself time to become effective at implementing those strategies and processes, at executing them, and giving yourself time to get the feedback from that execution to then understand how your strategies and processes need to be tweaked, and therefore giving yourself time to get those desired results actually met. Because if you do this properly, you will set yourself up with a process and strategy that is sustainable for you to execute in the long run and is also moving you towards your desired results. You're going to learn the basic principles of business that make your business successful, which comes from choosing a strategy or plan that is aligned, executing it, learning from the feedback, tweaking, going out there, continuing to execute. When it stops working, figuring out what is not working, and so on and so forth. This is business, and it's so much more pleasurable to operate your business from this place where you have the space to actually look at what the results are, to change course when you need, rather than doing everything from a place of fear and urgency, which usually leads to knee-jerk reactions. And then it builds this story within your head that you're not successful or you can't do it, when really you were just operating from urgency and made some poor decisions. Okay, and the sixth and final key problem that stands in the way of creating a successful business is a lack of support. Now, this can look like a lack of support in terms of team. It can look like lack of support in terms of peers and community, and also a lack of support in terms of having a partner in your business. I know the reason my Holistic Business Mistress Mind was so successful over the 6+ years I've ran it is because my clients were lonely in their business, trying to make all of the decisions themselves and being so up close to the details. When they got together in a mastermind context and saw what other people were struggling with, they were able to offer support to those people that they weren't able to access for themselves in their own businesses when they were so up close to the details. This gave them all so much more confidence, even more confidence than I had seen working with my clients one-to-one solely, because they were able to access those innovative leadership, non-urgent based decisions for the other people in the mastermind. And this lived experience, seeing and feeling themselves being able to access that leadership, meant that they could then now see and access that within their own business. So being surrounded by peers is really, really supportive in a mastermind context for that reason. And it's also extremely important to be surrounded by peers in such a way because we tend to feel so lonely and overwhelmed by the burden of leadership in our businesses. Even if you have a team, you still have responsibility like no one else in your team. Even if you have a team, you still need to make most of the big decisions. Even if you have a team, you still will feel lonely a lot of the time. And then for some of you, you don't even have people who are supporting you in your business and you're doing it all yourself. But to have a successful business, there are so many different areas that need to be executed, that you need to be good at, and none of us are good at all of those areas. And so from a sustainability perspective, over time, we start to outsource some of the areas to people who are really good at those things so that the business is getting all of the support it needs. And of course, having a partner in your business, the one-to-one coaching and mentorship support, is extremely valuable because you finally get to feel like you're sharing the burden and responsibility of being the leader of your business with someone else. Now, obviously, your coach and mentor does not become the leader of your business, but you get to share that decision-making time, most importantly, with someone else, someone who's not up close to the details, someone who can help you make those decisions objectively, and someone who can support you also with the execution to help you step out of your own own way. So if that's you, you can see that you simply have a lack of support, whether it's peers, whether it's partnership, or whether it's team. This is something you want to focus on solving. And of course, you don't need to do that all at once, but it's really important, first off, just to notice, hey, I'm trying to do this all on my own. And it's actually very normal and so necessary to be supported. I personally believe this realization is one of the fundamental parts of feminine leadership, recognizing that it's not all on you. It's about taking a community perspective and recognizing that it's a village that supports a child or a baby, just like a business. Okay, so now we know what the 6 key problems are. We know what qualities we need to focus on implementing and getting really good at in order to create a successful business. So we know we need clarity, we need an intentional strategy, we need focus, we need execution, we need to operate from a place that isn't urgent, and we need support. When we have these 6 things, we will move towards our desired results. We will choose processes and strategies that are aligned, and we'll be clear about what our processes and strategies are to create our desired results. And this is how we create a successful business. So I just want to draw all of your attention to my world-class free online course. You can register for that and receive all of the 5 trainings there right now today at letitiaringe.com/world-class. Now, the reason I want you to go through that course is because I go into the 5 pillars to my world-class framework for creating a world-class business. And in that, especially in the second day of training, which is all about building a thriving world-class business, I introduce you to some of the problems that we tend to think are standing in our way when it comes to business, which really aren't the problems we need to solve. It's really important that you know what these are, because when you stop paying attention to these problems that aren't really problems for you, it creates space for you to actually focus on the real problems you need to solve. And so I really want you to have those. And I also want you to go through all of the journal prompts I give you in that training, as well as the whole world-class online course, because it will help you so much. And in this episode at the end, I'm also going to give you some other journal prompts that will help you also to move forward. So now we know what 3 components are required to create a successful business. We now know what the 6 key problems are that stand in our way, and then therefore the 6 qualities we need to get really good at focusing on and embodying in our business in order to overcome those 6 key problems, and also to uphold those 3 components that are necessary for a successful business. So the way that I support my clients to do these things is primarily using the concept I taught 2 episodes ago called a world-class blueprint for their business or brand. We always want to start with a blueprint for your success in business that takes into account your desired results, the aligned processes and strategies for creating those desired results, and that enables you to be clear every single day on exactly what you're executing right now, so that there's nothing standing in the way of executing. We can instead deal with your resistance to executing as we move forward, rather than any lack of clarity you have on what you're executing. So the world-class business or brand blueprint is an essential starting point. We then execute what we decide in that world-class business or brand blueprint, and then we learn from and tweak the blueprint throughout the course of your business and brand journey, so that that blueprint is always working in the most optimal way for you. So that blueprint becomes unique and personal to you and your business, allowing you to thrive, allowing your business to thrive, and also allowing your life to thrive. Now, I use a number of different tools to help my clients with this, and I want to tell you about them now. The first is my holistic business map. This is basically your world-class blueprint. It is a complete map to your business that looks at the 5 key areas that is essential to creating a world-class and a thriving business. Like I mentioned at the top of this episode, this means we look at your life, we look at your business, we look at your expertise, your growth and transformation, as well as you as a woman, individual, and as a human. It also means we work not only with business strategy and coaching, but also we're working with your mind, with mindset coaching. We're working with your intuition, with inner voice facilitation, and we're working with your body with somatic exercises, nervous system regulation, and also menstruality and women's leadership mentoring. So we're always working with your body too. When we combine the strategy with working with these 3 systems within you, this is what enables us to help you across these 5 pillars and to support you through your journey of business in the most optimal way. So the Holistic Business Map is where we outline your world-class blueprint. I also use a tool that I call your core offer. This means we focus on what the primary offer is in your business to create the results you desire, rather than trying to spread your attention across multiple offers in your business or multiple core offers in your business, which then splits your focus and usually leads you to diluting your energy across different offers and then therefore minimizing the results that are possible. Instead, we want to focus on having one core offer in your business where all of your desired results can come from so that you don't need to split your attention. Once we have that offer in a place that is creating the financial sustainability as well as the impact that you desire, it's functioning really well, it's achieving the results you desire. If you really want to add in another core offer on top of that, we can, but we don't do them both at the same time. The third tool I use is called the One Business Problem. It's essential that you know what your core offer is in your business because the problem that needs to be solved next in your business will be connected to that core offer. If you don't have a core offer on the table, that means you need to get one. You need to have a clear core offer on the table. That would be the problem that needs to be solved. If you've got a core offer on the table, the next business problem you need to solve is that you've got to validate it. That means you need to have validated marketing and sales processes, i.e., you know how to sell that offer, which means it is selling. I use the measure of $10,000. So once an offer has made sales of $10,000, I consider that to be a validated offer. Now you know what works to sell that offer, and so you can move to the next problem you need to solve, which is all about growth. When you're growing a validated offer, you're focusing on what worked to actually market, sell, and deliver that offer, and you're doubling down on that. You're removing everything else that didn't contribute to that offer being marketed and sold and delivered in the best possible way. And so now with that doubling down and that focus on the 20% that leads to 80% results, you're then experiencing growth. And we want to grow that offer from $10,000 in sales to 6 figures in sales. Because if you focus instead on building a 6-figure business, if that's one of your goals, and you're spreading that across multiple offers, you're missing out on the potential for one offer to be a 6-figure offer. It's much easier to focus your attention on one offer to do this rather than looking at, okay, if I can just have all these different offers and get really good at all of them, and then combined they can reach whatever my financial goal is, which for a lot of people is 6 figures for financial sustainability. It just sets you up to make everything so much harder. I've worked with clients so many times on this, and when we focus their attention on one offer to bring in the financial revenue as well as the impact they desire, everything gets easier. And then once you've reached 6 figures, we're then looking at scaling. How can we create and maximize financial results, maybe so that you're getting to multiple 6 figures and beyond, or maybe we're making how you create those 6 figures more efficient and effective so that you're actually working less in the business or you're serving more people. It depends what your scalability goals are. We then focus on solving that business problem. It's so important to know what the next business problem is that you're actually solving, because that will direct our processes and strategies and help us to measure your success. Because moving towards your desired results often is not a one and done step. There are many steps on the way to those desired results being embodied. Another tool I use is what I mentioned before, entrepreneurial maturity. This is where we help you to get really good at focusing rather than scattering your attention across many different offers, many different processes and strategies, many different actions in your business. And instead, we get you to focus and recognize the power of focus and simplicity. I also use a tool I call conscious transformation. All clients who work with me are worked through a conscious transformation cycle. This includes the 4 phases to transformation. The first is awareness, the second is clarity, the third is realignment, and the fourth is embodiment. I've spoken about these 4 phases in episodes prior. I'll link them in the show notes, particularly in the context of relationships. It's also exactly the same when it comes to business. And this is something we work together on a one-to-one basis through my world-class hybrid one-to-one and mastermind leadership and business program. And finally, I use my tool, which helps you to shift protective patterns into connective patterns. This is really important because what is happening for most of you is that you have core desires in your business and you have certain behaviors you're exhibiting which are blocking you from meeting those core desires. So it doesn't matter what strategies you have or implement. It doesn't matter who else is in your business. It doesn't matter who you're working with. You are exhibiting these protective patterns that you've learned usually as a child, and they're stopping you from achieving the success you want in business and also most likely across the rest of your life. You need to learn how to move protective patterns into new, supportive, connective patterns, and that's something I support my clients to do, and you'll be learning in my world-class hybrid program if you choose to join us. All right, so they are the key tools I use when I'm helping my clients on the business pillar of the work we're doing in creating a world-class business or brand. Now I want to leave you with some coaching prompts that will help you reveal what you need to focus on in order to help you create that amazing, successful business. The first prompt is, do I have an intentional strategy or blueprint for my business that tells me what my processes are that I'm focusing on to create my desired results? Second prompt is, do I have a clear core offer for my business? Third prompt, do I know what the one business problem is I need to prioritize solving next? Number 4, am I in entrepreneurial maturity or entrepreneurial immaturity? Number 5, where am I in the transformation cycle right now? And number 6, what protective patterns are blocking my core business desires? When you answer this question, think of the behaviors that are getting in the way of your business desires from being met. Now, I remind you that you can find my online free world-class course at leticiaringe.com/world-class. I highly recommend you go through the 5 trainings in that course as a matter of priority, as this will help you immensely in your business journey, no matter where you're at right now. It's something you want to keep going through in each season of your business so that you can identify what needs to be worked on next for your business. And finally, if you're looking for business and leadership support in 2025 and you want to join a high-level business and leadership mastermind as well as a one-to-one coaching and mentorship program, I invite you into my newest business offering, World Class. You can find all the details at leticiaringe.com/she's world class. Enrollment closes on the 11th of June, and you need to book in an application call with me so that you and I can meet and we can work out what we would focus on together in this program. I'm so excited to begin with you all in World Class on the 14th of July and to be working together for the rest of the year as we take your business and brand to its next level and as we explore your world-class potential. All right, everyone, I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye. Thank you for listening to the Create a Life That Is Beautiful podcast, your go-to resource for personal development and coaching. To deepen your learning and practice, make sure you're subscribed to receive our community newsletter. Subscribe at leticiaringe.com/newsletter. And if you haven't yet left a 5-star review for the podcast, we ask that you please do that now so that this podcast can reach other listeners who also want to join us in creating a life that is beautiful.